my name's Jacob. Welcome to Choo. Today I'm going to make Kangaroo Osso Bucco, or as I like to call it, Kangaroo Bucco. That doesn't work. Kangaroo Bucco. Kangaroo. Clearly I've not had enough wine. Kangaroo Bucco. That works. That fucking works.
Osso Bucco is an Italian dish traditionally made with the shin of veal cut into discs. It translates to bone with a hole. It's often stewed in wine with vegetables. I've done a video on shanks before. I suggest checking that one out once you're done here, but basically the shank is a calf muscle of any animal. It's quite a tough piece of meat full of connective tissue, so the only real way to cook it is low and slow, baby. First things first, you're gonna want to get yourself some shanks, man. Now, to hunt kangaroos in Australia, you need a hunting license, you need a roo culling license or a roo hunting license, and it's a whole lot of fucking work that most people can't be fucked unless you live on a big farm. So don't go out there and start shooting stuff, otherwise you'll get in trouble. The good news is, it is commercially available pretty much everywhere in Australia. However, if you want a shank, you'd probably have to order that in specially, because it's not one of the more common cuts. For kangaroo, you can get all kinds of other beef shin and lamb shanks everywhere you look, but kangaroo shanks are a little bit harder to come by. So unless you've got a roo guy or you order it in specially, you might not be able to get your hands on some shanks, which is a bit of a pisser.
The reason I'm wearing this mask is not because of COVID, although obviously you do have to wear them if you go outside. It's because when you're cutting through bone, the bone powder is really bad for your lungs, and also it absolutely fucking stinks. So I do recommend a hacksaw is not ideal. I don't have anything else. I don't have a reciprocating saw. I don't have any sort of butchering things. I'm not a butcher. I'm butchering this, but I'm also butchering it. See, this is not an ideal way to cut your Osso Bucco, but it's all I fucking got. So what are you gonna do? You know, you gotta use the tools that you have. A hacksaw does work. Probably don't get one with this shit on there because that blue paint comes off. It's probably lead based. I'm probably gonna die. But anyway, trust me, if you're gonna cut through this thing with a hacksaw, first of all, you need to be pretty fit, unlike myself, because that is exhausting. These are big fucking bones. And secondly, yeah, the bone dust. Oh, I mean, it fucking stinks, and it really is fine, and it chokes you up. So grab a mask.
Once you finish cutting the shank into discs, you want to tie a little bit of cooking twine around there. This will hold the meat together when it's stewing. Dust the meat with plain flour and a bit of salt and pepper. Heat up some oil, and when the oil starts to shimmer, you want to cook the meat, pretty much searing it for 2 minutes maybe each side. Oh yeah, I'm gonna rest that meat, yeah. For the veggies, I'm going to use pretty much whatever I can find around the garden that's suited to this kind of meal. So instead of onion, I'm going to use onion weed. I've done a video on onion weed, so check that out. It is the end of the season, but there's still a few around. And instead of celery, I'm going to use this native pig face. This is a very interesting plant that I'll be doing a video on soon, so stay tuned for that. As far as herbs go, we're going to use wild mint from the creek. It has a very interesting aroma. Some common thyme, common rosemary, fresh bay leaves from the bay tree. And I'm going to garnish with sage, the flowers from the onion weed, some lavender flowers, and the flowers from this Chinese broccoli that's bolted. I'm going to use some common spinach as well. I'll use the stalk in the stir fry part of this, and then I'll use the leaf later on when I add the herbs. I'll fry up the spinach, the onion weed stems, the pig face with a couple of cloves of garlic. When that's a little bit brown, I will add half a tin of tomatoes with some raw sugar and get that slightly caramelized. Throw in a couple of chilies because I like things spicy. You could also add mushrooms, but I didn't have any. I'll add a couple of cups of wine and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and then let that simmer for a little bit. I'm just going to throw the rest of the leftover meat in there and cook that anyway, and then add the vegetables. And a little bit of water, making sure everything's slightly covered. And then add your Osso Bucco, and again, make sure that the water comes up just above the meat. Add your spinach and your herbs, your bay leaves, and then seal it up. It's going to take about 3 to 4 hours on the auto setting. So in the meantime, I suggest you jump on the computer and play a little bit of Valheim. Get those crops going.
This is better than actual farming because it only takes 2 days for your onions to grow, babe. So many fucking onions. Oh, mate.
After 3 or 4 hours, once the RSI is fully kicked in, the food should be ready. So we like to serve with some cheesy mashed potatoes and garnish with the flowers we picked earlier. Oh, mate. Anyone who says that kangaroo is only good for dogs or it's not good meat, is fucking, they don't know how to cook. Dopey bastards. This is incredible. A mashed potato certainly helps. But fuck, man, that is a tasty bit of tender bit of meat. Look at that. Oh, it's just dripping. It's just dripping.